And we are live. What's up, Stu?
Hello, Jim.
That's quite a flattering long sleeve t-shirt you have on there today.
You
Is
like it?
that oh yeah, excuse me. Which way to the pool?
Ah,
Um so that's Naval Academy, but what does it say on the left sleeve? I don't want to see your
I
I
think
don't want
it's
to see your boobs.
established
Oh, okay. Est
1848.
1840.
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
45. 45.
All righty then. Well, welcome everybody to the CopyAndContent.AI report. We've got some cool stuff for you today. Stu, do you ever practice gratitude?
I am always grateful, Jim. But I will say I probably need to thank more people more often.
Okay. So interesting. I was having a conversation with my lovely bride of 30 years yesterday as we were driving down, or not driving, walking back down the driveway from the mailbox. And I said, I'm I'm very grateful for things I think a lot of people take for granted, like the fact that I don't have to worry about what I'm having for dinner tonight, or that I have a nice, safe, clean, dry house. And
Oh yeah, that's huge.
the thing is, though, that to really appreciate stuff like that, it's good for you to have not had it or to have had it like rough. Like if you want to appreciate having something, be poor for a while. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
not
yeah.
know where your next meal is coming from. And I think that if you're grateful, that helps. Now, that doesn't mean you got to go be poor, but as we've discussed in the past, a little suffering never hurt nobody.
Yeah. All you have to do is go camping, Jim.
Now, do you ever I know, people that don't know, you're a former Navy SEAL. Do you ever look back on any of like the hard stuff that you went through when you were specifically doing that or camping or any kind of stuff? I mean, do you have any things in your life that you look back on and like, man, that sucked. I'm so glad I'm like in this snuggly blanket right
Oh,
now.
I am so grateful for being comfortable.
Uh-huh.
To be able to sit with my little foot heater underneath this desk,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm like I'm not freezing. Um, I can go upstairs, get on the couch. My dog comes up next to me, snuggles in,
Yeah.
grab some covers, just chill out, get comfortable. I mean, those are some of my most grateful moments.
Yeah.
Because I have been so uncomfortable
Right.
and cold and wet and sandy and
Right.
dirty. Yes.
And I think, it's funny how you mentioned your little buddy Parker that part of what makes that nice is having your puppy dog. I assume you like your wife, and
Yes.
other family members and the people around you, and then you got kind of that next circle outside of you of really close friends and people that you have relationships with. And in the end, I'm getting older, I'm getting more philosophical. And one of the things that I realized, and we've talked about this, in the end, I don't know of anybody who had their bank balance on their tombstone. It's like, up, final balance, something million, just how many, oh
I
shit.
bet there's some jerk did that.
I wish there'd been an extra zero, I mean,
I
but
didn't
no,
work hard enough.
exactly. But if
Yeah.
on the tombstone, hopefully it's like beloved father, husband, grandpa. I mean, I hope mine says
It's all
greatest grandpa, world's greatest grandpa.
I think that's a good one.
And maybe I'll design my own tombstone ahead of time. World's greatest grandpa. And really freak some people out and put it in the yard now. Established 1967. Um, but when it really comes down to is in the end, the only thing that ever really matters is who loved you and who you love.
True.
The ultimate relationships. And we could talk about, all of that, but ultimately the only thing in the world that gives life meaning is the contribution that you make and the relationships that you develop, the friendships.
True.
That's the only stuff that can be with you forever. Health fades, money comes and goes, houses rot, friendship love relationships. So I thought it'd be fun to have somebody that I know who his whole business is built on helping people build relationships, nurture them, start them, do all that stuff. It's kind of cool. And I've known this dude for, I think I met him in 2018. He accosted me 2018, 2017, somewhere in there. He accosted me. And then he tried to set my pants on fire. Well, sort of. But it was interesting that I met this guy and I like instantly liked him and wanted to be friends with him because he was just really cool and interesting and got to play with fire. And the other thing is that he wasn't like trying to get anything from me. He was just trying literally just to get to know me and be friendly and genuinely helpful. And so over the years now, what, 6, 7 years, we've become good buddies, and I've seen his business take off. And the one thing as the world gets more and more crowded and the online world gets more and more impersonal, the lessons that he has to share are more and more important than ever, because the more connected people are, the more isolated they actually are. And so, with no further ado, let's bring Mr. ROR, Mr. Return on Relationship, Mr. Christopher Voss to the stage. What's up? Welcome, Christopher.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Damn, dude, that microphone works, son.
Oh, hey, let me bring it down a little
No,
bit.
you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're good. So, what's up, Christopher? How you doing?
Doing good. We've moved. The ROR World Headquarters is now in a new location. The studio is not 100% set up, but we've got audio, we got video. You guys can see me. I can see you. You can hear me. I can hear you. So that's the best.
It's amazing how that works.
Through the power of internet communication. So, Christopher, give everybody the 1 minute background on you, what you do, and why you're amazing.
So the thing I like to lead with is, if anyone's ever seen the movie Hitch with Will Smith, Will Smith would hook up guys with their dream dates. And so I don't do that, but you know, hey, I want to have a relationship with this amazing woman. And so I am the Alex Hitchens of the digital marketing world and now the brick and mortar space world. So people want to get the attention of an individual. They want to build a relationship. They want to build a friendship with someone. But some people, it's authentic and they want to do it and they do it for the right reasons, but they just aren't good at it, or they just don't know how, or it just feels awkward for them. So they need someone to help them do it. So what we do, our team, is we help connect people with their dream contacts, their dream influencers, people that they know that they want to have a relationship with them for some reason. They know that organically there's going to be an opportunity to do business maybe down the road. But what we like to do is lead with the friendship, lead with the opportunity there first. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this, I mean, I'm on this stream call, this video call with you guys because of a relationship. I mean, I'm a father of 9. I have my best friend, my wife, Jennifer, and I would be dead and would not be here if it wasn't for a relationship. A relationship literally saved my life. And I'm forever grateful for that because, you know, there's nothing, like you were saying in the beginning, there's no more important than life and the people that you love and the people that love you. And
how did a relationship save your life?
So I was an entrepreneur. You know, they say, you know, that thing where they say, put your oxygen, you know, when the oxygen masks come down on the plane, put yours on first so that you can help the elderly and the kids that are around you.
Yeah. If you want to.
Do I like you? I was the complete opposite. I was the mask came down and I was the guy pushing the cart down the aisleway saying, hey, can I top off your coffee? Can I get you a warm blanket? I was taking care of everyone else, but I wasn't taking care of me. And I was on this entrepreneurial journey and I was 400 pounds. So I was a really, really big guy. And you stay that large, that long, eventually your body says, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't support this. And so I had someone that I met through someone else. So there was someone I built a relationship with. And then from that person, I met someone else and I met someone else and I met someone else. And so this person that I met had a health and wellness program charges a lot of money to put you into this program, charges a lot of money to coach you. And he said, hey, I want to help you. And that was because I had done things for him. I had a relationship with him. I developed a friendship with him. So he said, I want to do something back for you. I want to take you into my program. So he took me into his program and didn't charge me, coached me one-on-one. Anytime I was going to eat something I wasn't supposed to eat or I had a rough moment, I could text him. I mean, it was just really close and intimate. And I had lost a considerable amount of weight. I brought down about 125 pounds. And so I wasn't 400-pound Chris anymore. Now, I'd been heavy for a while. So something bad happening, most likely was going to happen. It's just a matter of when, because I was just so unhealthy for so long. So I had I was walking in the grocery store with my wife. I remember walking through the flower section. You get through, and all of a sudden I had this sensation travel up, starting on the left side of my foot, and it traveled up my body and went all the way up to my shoulder. And I was scared to death. I had no idea what was going on. I knew something was wrong. I was so scared. And what had happened was that I had had a stroke. And sometimes it's hard to talk about. But if I was 400-pound Chris, very likely I wouldn't have survived that stroke. But lighter Chris survived that stroke. And I was in my hospital bed, hooked up to all these machines, and literally sometimes it's like the second stroke or sometimes the second hit, or, the ones that come afterwards, sometimes are the ones that tend to wipe you out sometimes. And, I recorded a video to my kids, and that video was because if I wanted them to have a video from their dad, like the last video from their dad. And so I recorded that video. I gave the phone to my wife. And after a little while, she started coaxing me, wanting me to get back on my phone. And I said, I don't want anything to do with my phone. She's like, you're getting some text messages. And I said, no, you look at it. And so finally she convinced me, and I got my phone and I started looking at some of the text messages. And these text messages were some from really cool people that I had poured in and built a relationship with. So I was at one of the lowest points of my life, scared of dying. And I had all these people reaching out to me within the ClickFunnels community that Jim, you know about. And these were so timely. So it gave me that encouragement to keep fighting and to make it through this and just to feel that support. And when the doctor came and sat on the edge of my bed, and he said, your wife shared a little bit of the experience of what you've gone through. And he said, you want to make sure that you send a Christmas card, a birthday card to that person that took you into his program, because that person saved your life. And then when you track back, though, there's one person in my world that I'm in right now, this digital marketing space and everything we're in, everything started with that person. So if I never would have built a relationship with that person, I never would have met this person. And so when you go track that chain, I'm forever grateful to that individual, because he introduced me to someone else. And that is why people, we're going into 2024, and there's all sorts of crazy things going on in the world, and business is up and down and all over the place.
We're not going into 2024, dude. We're smack dab in 2024.
Right,
which 2024 is like a third over, man.
I'm looking at the glass. I'm looking at the glass different, but people are looking for change. People are looking for opportunities. People are looking for things that they need to have happen in their life. But the key thing is, the thing that was key for me is I didn't know that I was going to need that person. And so that's why you want to build relationships, build these friendships, because someone's going to do something for you that you don't really know you need at that time. And so that's why you want to build as many relationships as possible, because something's going to happen in your life where you're going to need to tap into that relationship, and that person's going to be able to help you, or you're going to be able to help them too as well. So it goes back. That's why we call it return on relationship, right? Because there's that back and forth. So in a nutshell, that's why I'm so passionate about this. My wife's life was saved because of a relationship. I could just tell story after story, not only of myself, but clients of people that have just had life-altering changes in their life and in their business because of a person. But that person doesn't know who you are unless you build a relationship with them.
It's interesting that what I'm hearing you say, and it's just because the way I think now from hanging out with Stu for the last 10 years and other people that I've met through him, that what I hear you saying is basically you need to build a team and you need to pick the people you want to have on your team. Is that another way of looking at it? And then teammates do for each other. I mean, it's not just about, what can you do for me, but it's how can we develop a relationship so that we are truly helping one another? Because I see you, I like you, I want to get to know you and see if we could be good teammates.
Helen Keller says you're better together. There's so much more you can accomplish together. I was listening to Les Brown this morning, and Les Brown said, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to get a new room of friends. Yeah. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's so true. Yeah, you surround yourself. I mean, I always compare life to like climbing Mount Everest. I mean, if you want to get at the top of Mount Everest, you can't get there by yourself. I mean, the Nepali government doesn't allow you to summit Mount Everest alone anymore because too many people died doing it. You just can't do it alone. And so,
you know what my thought is for doing Everest? It'd be great to have a friend with a helicopter. And he'd fly me up to the top. I'd hop up, take some selfies, hop back on, and be done.
But helicopters can't go up that high, so you gotta climb it.
It's need a better friend.
But you surround yourself with people that are where you want to go, and it's like, hey, I want to be there, so I'm going to build a relationship with that person because they can help me get to where they're at. And if I show that I care about them and I do things for them, they're going to want to reciprocate and they're going to want to help me get me to where they're at. So yeah, you're exactly right in how you sum that up.
Yeah, but let me push back because I can hear the minds of the people that are listening who are going to say, well, if I'm down here and they're up here, what do I have to offer them? Why would they even want to pay attention to me? I mean, that's the mental Achilles heel.
People think that a lot. And the answer to that question is everybody is looking for a friend. Everyone's looking for a relationship. Everyone's looking for someone they can have an authentic relationship with. And the problem is so many people are out for themselves. So many people are, I want to do this for this purpose. I mean, things have become very transactional. And that's one thing is you want to get out of the transactional part and have it more relational. And so, like, for example, we're right now helping someone build a relationship with Jeff Bezos. They have a reason of why they want to connect with the Amazon guy. And it's like, why in the world would this person ever want to have any relationship with me because of where they're at and the status that they have? But the thing is how you show up in people's lives, what you do for them and how you show up. And really at the end of the day, we call it an emotional response. If you can create an emotional response in someone, and the best way to describe it is like my wife, she'll remember things that I did like 20 years ago. And I'm like, how in the world do you remember that? Can't you just forget about that? That was stupid. Yeah, I was dumb. But women tie things with an emotion. So that's why they never forget about it, because when you tie an emotion to it, they'll never forget. So if you can create an emotional response in an individual, whether it be Tony Robbins, Jeff Bezos, Jim Edwards, Stu, whoever it is, create that emotional response, create that connection. Emotional response equals connection. These people are going to be like, wow, this person's interesting. I want to get to know them. And so really that's a false belief.
Isn't that interesting that this person's interesting, but you're interesting because you're interested in them?
Yes. Huh. Yeah. There's another quote by Jim Rohn about that, but yeah. So people do want to have relationships. They want to have, and especially, if they're big influencers, everyone wants their attention. Everyone wants something, but what if someone comes into their life and says, I don't want anything. I just want to build a relationship? Because I mean, this is a great example. I mean, we've been friends for quite some time and you're allowing me to be able to come on your show and then talk about what I do. And that wasn't the goal. That was like, hey, I just want to, I'd like to do something kind for you. And so that's what people need to remember is don't lead with the transaction. Don't lead with, hey, I want to build a relationship for this reason. It's okay to begin with the end in mind. It's like, hey, I think down the road there might be an opportunity, but if you lead with that, then people feel that you're needy and that you want something, and then they push back and they don't want anything to do with you because, hey, this guy's only interested in me because he wants something. And the best time to get something from someone is when you don't need something, and so that's kind of the direction that you want to go.
Say that again, that last part. The best time to get something from someone is when you don't need something. What do you mean?
So yeah, what I mean by that is, like, a lot of people like, hey, you do something and then ask them for something. It's like, well, they only did that because they needed something. So when you have a relationship, you do something for someone, and then down the road, you're like, hey, by the way, could you help me with this? You'd be like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'd be glad to do that. But if you do it immediately, like, hey, here's a lollipop. Oh, by the way, give me something back. We're like, well, I only gave that
Wash
to me.
my car.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, there's so many components of relationship building, and just we've fallen out of learning how to connect. We've fallen out of people have lost, there's a lot of things that we've gone through that have caused people to lose that ability or that skill to be able to make a natural connection with someone. And gratitude, you talked about earlier, that's where everything starts. I mean, that's ground zero. And the best story, Jim and Stu, that I can share is I was a little knee-high to a grasshopper. I followed my mom around. I ran errands with her all the time. I was kind of a mama's boy. And I remember going to the bank one day, and my mom had this large check that she had to cash for one of my dad's clients. He was an attorney. And back in the olden days, when you cashed a check, you couldn't scan the barcode to see if the check was good. Sometimes they needed to call the institution where the check was written from and say, hey, I've got this $10,000 check. Is it okay for us to cash it? And so I remember mom going in, the woman went and checked. She came back and said, Mrs. Voss, I'm sorry. I couldn't get a hold of the institution, something or whether. And she says, hold on 1 second. And so she went around the counter. Security was a lot different back then. And she went over to the guy at the big desk. And that was back when banks were not big global banks.
Right.
And the guy was sitting there in his tie and his suit. But I want to tell you, the thing that happened before that story is my mom used to go up to the bank, drop off cookies, treats. She'd drop off perfume. She'd drop off a tie for the bank manager or the owner of the bank. She would, holidays, not holidays. She served and did things for these people in this bank. And I remember that as a kid. So the teller walked around to the guy at the big desk, and I overheard the conversation, and I heard this: for Mrs. Voss, anything. Then she came back around to the counter and she said, Mrs. Voss, would you like that in big bills or small bills? Or big bills or small bills? And that I'll never forget. And so people are like, where does return on relationship come from? I mean, I was taught this as a kid. That bank manager knew, like, and trusted my mom. He knew her because of the relationship that she established with him and everyone else there. So he knew that she would not walk in with a bogus, bad $10,000 check that she wants to get cash, that he could trust that was going to be good. And so you take that and apply that into the online world. You take that into the brick and mortar world. If you show gratitude, if you try and build a relationship, do it authentically, do things for other people, not expecting anything in return, things will come back to you, and opportunities. Everyone's looking for an opportunity in 2024. And everything in life and business swings on hinges. Those hinges I call relationships. Hinges open up doors of opportunity. Relationships open up doors of opportunity. So if you're looking for an opportunity this year, as we're deeper into 2024, go for relationships, because those are the things that are going to open up those doors of opportunity for you.
It's funny. You bring up two things. One, we can learn a lot by paying attention to our moms. And I know that the three of us actually here both learned a lot from our moms.
Oh, yeah.
One person's mom is responsible now for the highest completion rate in buds for the last 20 years because she challenged her kid to, quit crying and go
figure
get
it
caught
out.
up in chemistry.
Yeah.
My mom taught me about developing relationships with people who buy from you so they'll buy from you again, and the power of a tiny database kept in a recipe box on 3x5 cards of people's addresses, and the power of sending those people a postcard or calling them on the phone to let them know when you were going to be at a craft show, so that they could show up and buy from you in droves as opposed to everyone else who had nobody coming in. And the power of coffee cake. because you have good coffee cake. Someone comes talk about a lead magnet. I made coffee cake. Come over to the house. Let's have some coffee cake. Oh, I got some new stuff in the basement that we made. You want to check it out? And then all of a sudden, ladies are dropping a couple $100 in cash that Uncle Sam don't know about. You know what I'm saying?
Nice work.
So, that power of relationship and the relationships that you're absolutely right. The impact of those relationships goes so far beyond what we could even understand. I mean, if you look at just, Stu and I hanging out for the last decade or whatever, the impact that he's had on my fitness and then inspiring other people through me to get fit, or his business, my business, our business, just you, that authentic relationship is like your most valuable. I hesitate to call it an asset. It's your most valuable gift.
Yeah.
To be able to start it and grow it. And interesting, just thinking about that. I mean, Stu and my relationship, one of the most powerful business relationships I've ever had, but it started out with me being his customer, but then helping him with his business. He was helping me with fitness and I helped him with his ebooks. And then he's like, oh, this is cool, and then we ought to do something.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stu.
Yeah, something I do to create relationships that I do not expect anything back on is I offer free coaching, free training for anybody who is preparing to serve. And I've been doing this for probably 25 years now. And I cannot tell you how many times it has come back and said, oh, I know a guy in Secret Service. Oh, I know a guy in Marine Corps. Oh, I know a guy over here, a guy over there who can help another person or even myself with whatever task I need to accomplish or thing I need to learn or whatever. But though that has been my little source of relationship building for half my life, really. So it is powerful.
The cool thing is that those relationships that you built over the last 25 years, you helped the kids when they couldn't afford to pay you. And now that they're older, they can afford to pay you and they bring their friends that can afford to pay you. And so it's coming back multiple folds over.
I got a question about buds, by the way. I geek out on watching the Discovery series, and it's just incredible how you got through that. I mean, I watched that. They followed that class all the way through and everyone that dropped out. I mean, talk about relationships. I mean, holy cow. I mean, your group that you're with, I mean, you got to bond really quick and you sink or swim. I mean, it's incredible. I don't know how in the world you did that. That's amazing.
I think there's a lot more myth to it than reality. I mean, it is very challenging, don't get me wrong, but it's very doable too. There's no impossibility factor to it. It's just impossible in your mind. And that is usually the straw that breaks the camel's back, if you will, that leads to not being successful. And I don't care how well you train physically, if you really don't want it as bad as you need to want it, it's a difficult process because there's just so much discomfort. And like we were talking at the beginning of the show, I am just so grateful for just little comforts. Because it is just so uncomfortable all the time. I mean, it gets to a point where if you don't have sand on your body, you're like, this is weird. It's just like, to be clean and comfortable and warm is a blessing.
You said like the mind. I mean, that's one of the big things that holds people back. I mean, Jim, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but what holds people back from building relationships is those thoughts of, it is up here. It's like, well, that person won't want anything to do with me, or, I'm too little, I'm too small. they're too big. And those are things that if I can get people to stop thinking that and start thinking of the possibilities of what a relationship can do for you. And there are literally people sitting around waiting for that connection. They're waiting, and those opportunities are there. And sharing all these experiences, when my wife was having brain surgery to remove a tumor during COVID, and I wasn't able to focus on my business. I just didn't have the time. Her recovery took about 2 months. She was bedridden for a while. I mean, it's one of the, she's had 9 kids, and she said it's the worst pain she's ever gone through in her life, having brain surgery. And a friend of mine sent me a letter saying, I just felt prompted to send this to you because I see what you're going through, and I just wanted to help you in some way possible. And he sent me a $5,000 check, and with this letter. And I walked up to my wife crying, saying, I read this letter, and she's like, oh my word. And it was just, but that was the return, the gratitude that I had shown to this person, and the relationship I established with this person. They could see that I was at a point where I needed help. And it's those moments when you don't know that you need help, or just, it's those moments when someone reaches out when you don't know that you're going to need it. And so this is a phrase that's overused, but your network equals your net worth. And that net worth can be, like you said, it's not the money that's written on your tombstone on all the zeros. I mean, your net worth is spiritual, physical, relational. I mean, all those things encompass your net worth, and your network equals all of that. And so people need to think, build your network, build it, get it big, get it strong. And people need to invest the time. It's not a one and done thing. You continue to show people that you care. And Jim, you circled gratitude. Yes. When I was at Funnel Hacking Live, I handed out 5,000 gratitude rocks. It was a little rock, and had the word gratitude on it. And I gave one to every single person that came. We put one on every single seat in the room when I spoke on stage that one time, because I wanted people to understand that gratitude is where it starts. I mean, that is, if people can just understand that, and it's the little things, it doesn't have to be a big thing.
Right.
It can be something small.
So 2 things. One, I'm going to bring this back to something I think everybody can understand and identify with, which is the zombie apocalypse. So think about any good zombie apocalypse show. All right. Who are the people that survive? The people that survive are the ones that have a community of friends. The ones that don't survive are the ones that are off on their own, thinking they can handle it on their own. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, any doomsday survival book you ever read tells you the number 1 thing that you need is not more freeze-dried food, but a network of people in your immediate area to support you. This is how I have the benchmark that everything you're saying is true, because what you're teaching here will help me survive zombies or doomsday scenario. So thank you, Christopher.
You're welcome. And Jennifer is on the other side of the room just cracking up when you said that.
So now this does not discount the 4 G's of surviving any apocalypse, which is God, guns, gold, and grain. Okay, just remember that. That's the basis of a really good book or home study course. Okay. I would say, though, one thing, and this is going to transition over into a cool demo.
Okay.
Is that one of the things, and we alluded it to, is when you think of gratitude is like this little thing that you send off into the world like a ripple, that when you do it, you don't know exactly how or where it's going to land or what it's going to influence. But you know what? The one thing you can always guarantee by feeling grateful is that it's going to make you feel really good. You can't feel bad when you are authentically feeling grateful for something. The mind cannot hold more than one thought at a time. It's true. You can't hold more than one thought at a time. So you can't feel bad. You can't feel depressed. You can't feel pissed off if you are in a true state of gratitude.
It's kind of like playing a sad song with a banjo, Jim. You just can't do it.
So if you could
demo
demo that for us right now, that'd be great. You got
the
a banjo?
Hell yeah.
You got a banjo?
So one of the ways that you can do that is just by practicing every single day, sending a message to someone of saying of gratitude for something that they did. And I want to share with you how AI can actually help you do that. And then I want to talk to you or have Christopher talk to you about how he can help you with your relationship. So what do we got here, Stu?
Email composer Genie.
The email composer Genie now with DM. So watch this. I'm going to do a new project and I'm just going to fill this out using the free thingy that lets you talk. Jim Edwards, Christopher Voss. Say thanks for being on the podcast today. Appreciate you, man, and really grateful for the insight you shared. I really love the story you shared about your mom. People were really grateful for the opportunity to potentially work with you. Contact me if there's anything I can do to help you. Life's short. I'm here if you need me. So we're going to do this in friendly. And we'll do entrepreneur. Actually, it'd be fun to do Mad Magazine. So let's do active, beginner, first person. We'll do I and this. So now we're just going to crank out a little thank you email for Christopher. And then let's say I didn't want to send him the email, but here's the email. I'll say, hey, thanks for being on the podcast, man. Thanks so much for being on the pod. Appreciate you, man. I'm really grateful for the insight you shared. The story you shared about your mom was really heartwarming. I know people are grateful for the opportunity to potentially work with you. If there's anything I can do to help you, don't hesitate to reach out. Life's short, so I'm here if you need me. Remember, if there's anything I can do to help you, don't hesitate to contact me. Life's too short to go it alone. Boom. I mean, that took me like less than a minute. It's better than the, hey, man, thanks for being on the podcast. And you could tell somebody why you're grateful. Okay. Now watch this. Now we got this new feature that I added, which will convert the email message into a DM or a text. Hey, thanks for rocking the podcast today. Love the touching story about your mom. If anyone's going to benefit from collaborating with you, it's our listeners. If you need anything, I'm here for you. Life's too short. Cheers, Jim. P.S. Seriously, if you need a hand, just holler. Bam. If I sent that to you, you would be like, oh, no, hell no, hell no, hell no. Block him. That was written by AI. No. I mean, that's a neat little, that's better than thanks. And it's a quick little way to do that. And it'll make it a bunch of different ways and all this other stuff. But the gist of it is that however you do it, saying thank you is almost one of the most selfish things that you can do, because saying thank you genuinely and being totally grateful is going to make you feel good, whether the person you send the message to gives a rat's patoot or not. So I want to be as grateful as I can, as often as I can, because it makes me feel awesome.
It's a nice little side of, it's a nice little side effect. You're helping someone. You can't lose. You're right. There's all of these things that go, so not to get all medical, but yeah, there's chemical things that happen in your brain, that happen in your body, that create all of that to happen. So, someone's getting that, it's like when you watch someone open up a Christmas gift, all those things that go inside, all the excitement, all of those things that happen in your body. Yeah. There's cool chemical stuff. So yeah, it's a free drug.
What do you say to the people who aren't a good receiver?
That's an issue. People need to remember to be a good receiver. And when you do receive something, I do podcasts just about this. Make sure that you say thank you. If someone does something kind for you, make sure you say thank you back. Some people are not good at that either. And that's important because you need to be a good receiver. And that's something I know. I wasn't a good receiver. I didn't say thank you when someone did something for me. I was more about doing things for other people and less about being a receiver of people doing things for me. And so that's something I've had to learn to adjust to, is allow someone to do something for you. Like, be okay with not being okay. Be okay with, hey, I need help with this. Can you help me? And sometimes that's one thing too, as well, that's hard to do, is say, hey, I'm struggling. Like, Jim, like, I could send you a text message and say, I'm struggling. I'm having a bad day. I need someone to talk to. And you'd be like, okay, I'll clear my schedule after I get done with these 5 things.
Sure, let's get on. What do you need? All right, unscrew your head, Voss. I get you straight in about a minute and a half. I'm the friend you call when you want a fast psychological solution. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Christopher, because I am probably the worst at saying, yeah, I could use some help. When somebody even offers it, hey, Stu, you need help with anything? You need help with this? Need help with that? No, I got it. Don't worry about it.
I fixed my own lawnmower.
We just moved. Like, we've been in this location for 9 or 12 years. I've got 9 kids. Not all 9 live at home. Still got 5 at home, but I have the 4 other kids' stuff. So we had to move in like 2 weeks, our whole family, to this new house. And trust me, I'm like, I need some help. And I called on a lot of friends, people to help us move stuff. And heck, we had a refrigerator, an industrial sized refrigerator that you'd see in a kitchen at a restaurant. And it's like, how are we going to get all this stuff moved? And so I asked people, I just text them, and Jennifer's like, don't you have any more friends? I'm like, a lot of the friends I have that are really close live in other states. She's like, well, have them drive here.
Yeah, you need that friend with a strong back and a weak mind. That's the friend you need for that refrigerator. But you talk about true friendship. When you move, that's when you know who your real friends are. My boy C. Ray came up from North Carolina with his industrial dolly and helped us move. Man, God saver right there, man, lifesaver, forever great. Would have do anything for that dude.
You definitely need
what
some
he
dollies.
Did. Yeah.
Yeah. And a guy knows how to work it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, because nothing's worse than a brother-in-law who has a dolly that doesn't know how to do it, and you're on the wrong end of the fulcrum. Okay. Yeah, that's bad.
Or when you move a bed, all the crap that's underneath the bed that you're like, what are all these? I mean, I clean, I vacuum. What is all this stuff underneath? Yeah. When you move a mattress, you're like, oh my gosh, what is all
this? Looks like a hobo's been living under here.
Yeah. Like, it's so people see that. It's like, that's okay. You can see that. Yeah.
Well, except for the fingernail clippings. Anyway. So Christopher, how, obviously we're not going to get to your funnel today, Stu. We'll do that next time.
Sorry, Stu.
Stu's like, good thing. So Christopher, tell people, like, what is your business? What is it that ROR University and your done for you service and stuff, which, by the way, we are clients of ROR. So we spend money with Chris. So what's up? What do y'all do?
2 things. Number 1, we'll teach you how to do this. So if you want coaching, if you want to, hey, I have all these people I want to connect with, I want you to help coach me and teach me how to do it. Like, what's the first thing I do? Because, what's the first thing? What's the second? What's the third? Everything follows a process. If you do this, and this, you're going to be pretty assured you're going to be able to build that relationship, get their attention, and start that connection. So we teach it, and we have something called the ROR method. What the method is, it's a 6-step process. First thing, second thing, third thing, fourth thing, fifth thing, sixth thing. Here's the things you do. Now, for somebody that doesn't want to do it themselves and they just don't have the time, they want us to do that for them. People just hand us a list of 5 names, 10 names, 20 names, 30 names. We do the connection for them. Now, it doesn't make it not real. It doesn't make it authentic. It'd be the equivalent of when you get married and you hire a wedding planner to plan this amazing wedding for your bride. You're hiring them because they know how to do it better and they can do it really good. And so the person we're trying to connect with, Jeff Bezos or Messi, or one soccer player in the world, or Tony Robbins, or Warren Buffett, whoever it is, I want to interview Warren Buffett on my podcast. So would you please help me get connected with this person? And so what we're really good at is we research the person. We find everything we can about this individual, and we then take that information and we come up with something that we send them to show gratitude and to show it in a different way. The best way to be authentic is to be different than everyone else. So if I can send something to Warren Buffett that's going to absolutely blow his mind and think, how in the world did this person know that this is my favorite movie of all time? And so, done for you. We do it for you, or we'll teach you how to do it. And those are the two things that we do. And we're really good at it. We have a very high success rate. We're able to turn the heads and get the attention of some really big people. They don't have to be big either. I mean, these can be big, medium, small, whatever, whoever it is that you're trying to connect with. So we research their lives, find everything we can out about the individual, and then we use that information to help you get connected with them, or we'll teach you how to do that. And then we have something new that we're working on that actually you sent me a message one day, Christopher, I got this great idea. Here's something that you should do. People sometimes need a very easy starting point. Maybe they don't want to go all in on something big and grand, but they want to plant a seed, or maybe they just want to say, hey, Stu, it was really nice meeting you on the show, and I want to do something nice and just say thank you to Stu really quick, or something to you. So we do have something new that I can talk about, that it's a starting point. We call them, they're very quick things. And if you want, I can talk about that right now too as well, if you
Sure,
want to
yeah.
go into that.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
we came up with this name called handshakes and high fives. And the handshakes are what it is you pick 10 people and you want to be able to say thank you very quickly to them for something that they've done for you, or you just want to get their attention very quickly. We'll send to them for you a gift. And this is a gift that has a personal feeling. See, that's the key thing too. Is you want to be different than everybody else. We know those things that we should pick that you can send to someone. So it's something that says, hey, I appreciate you, something unique that they'll cherish, and they'll go, wow, this is really neat. This is really cool. I'm grateful for this person. And so we'll pick that. We'll write a handwritten note, put that with the gift. We'll send that handshake to the person. We call it a handshake, and just say, hey, here's the note. Here's the gift. Shipping's included. So it's all inclusive, and you can buy.
That new house internet's backfiring on him, Stu. He froze. Man, froze in the middle of his explanation.
I had a big question for him.
This will bring him back. Touchdown. Come on, Chris.
You can do it.
I think the internet. What? Oh,
he can do it. He can. I'm talking
I don't
to
know
him.
what to do.
Talking to him. Tell me this, Jim. You know a little bit about Chris's business. Where is this on the spectrum of publicist or not even sure what to call the other side of that spectrum? Just
I think what it is that he remember back in the day when people were like not running as hard and as fast, and like you actually had a little bit time to think.
Yeah, back when technology was up and coming, telling us how much easier it's going to make our life.
We're only going to work 2 hours a day because the computers were going to do all the work for us. Yeah, that bullshit. Yeah. So what Christopher does, and what specifically they do for us, and Susan, if you want to can you drop that link I sent you in Voxer into the chat, please? Just because I can't. Thank you. So what Christopher does specifically for us is I prepaid them for 10 thank you gifts. And so we have them send a thank you gift to so I'm telling people what you do for us. So just go like this again, and then we'll have you back. So what they do is we tell them who we want to send the thank you gifts to, and then they'll go, and we have the higher package, obviously, but they'll go and research the people and do all the stuff that I should do, find out what their real interests are, cool, quirky stuff about family, stuff about hobbies, stuff about interests, stuff about vacations, all that. And then we'll come up with a cool idea for a gift, go get the gift, and then I help them come up with the what's up, Parker? I help them come up with the thank you note that gets sent. Then they print the note with much nicer handwriting than I'm capable of, as you can see. And so then they send it off and they track it and they let me know when the people get it. So it's a great value for what you get, which is in this case with the thank yous is to really say thank you to somebody, because when you put out and help somebody out, it's nice to be told thanks. But in the inimitable words of a guy I knew had a boat that took people fishing, my boat runs on gas and oil, not thanks. And so, yeah, that takes balls to have that sign on your boat. But the point is that by saying thank you and doing something that's outside the norm, it makes you memorable and they're more likely to want to help you out and want to be your buddy. So, and then they've got other levels where you can pick something, but it's just something cool and quirky, but it's not with the research thing, but still saves you a bunch of time. And they got cool, quirky things that will definitely be memorable. So that's specifically how we're using them. I'm starting to think though of things and people that I would want to really, especially with copy and content people, that it would be like, if I could get in front of this dude, who's got 5 million users or something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That might be worth, So that's specifically how we're using Chris. So it's almost like not really a publicist, but like the kind of stuff you would have done. It's like we say with copy and content. It's the whatever, it's the sales letter you would have written yourself if you had the time. It's the gift or the thank you or the note or the touch that you would have done if you weren't saving all this time with technology every day.
Got it.
And so that's basically what they do for us. So Chris, I mean, give everybody a little pitch. Susan has dropped the link for everybody. So just kind of give everybody your version of the pitch, not knowing anything of what I said, but knowing that it was good and telling everybody this, they should go check it out.
Okay, that's good, and that is good enough. But yeah, the difference between the two is the first package is it's something, we call it generic, but it's something very personal. People give stuff all the time, but they give really dumb stuff, and it's like they get this, they're like, "What am I going to do with this? It's going to go right in the trash." Or be like, "This is dumb." Or, "What is this?" So you want to be able to give them something they're like, "Wow, this is really cool," and they want to keep it, and they're grateful for it. So that's the first package. Yeah, something, we have a list of like 20 things, and we pick something from them that fits the personality of the person. You're exactly right. The second package is we do what's called a surface level intel gathering. We look at the surface. We get some information about them, and then we pick something that's more custom. Like maybe if they like, if they're into, if they're a Navy SEAL, it's like, well, we got something cool Navy SEAL that we could do, that we give to the person, or just something. Jim, you're low hanging for unicorn. Maybe it's something to do with a unicorn. If they knew that about you. So
not unicorn so much anymore. I'm more into the cultural appropriation of the genie. Just saying.
Okay. All right. Okay. There we go.
Just letting you know in case anybody's trying to catch up with us.
So and what we want to do is shipping, the note, the gift, everything's together in one thing. So like, hey, here's the cost to be able to do. So we do those. They're $250 is what it costs to be able to do that gratitude package out to the person. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, it's $450, and you get something that's very personal to the person, and that's the next level. So that's the difference between the handshakes. That's the difference between handshakes and high fives. You buy them in packs of 10, and then you have this little bank. And like you said, you just give us the name, and then we take care of it for you. So hey, I want to send something to Stu Smith. Boom, done, taken care of. We'll let you know when it's sent, and we'll let you know when he gets it, and then you'll just wait for him to reach out to you and thank you for it. And so,
and what you just said there, though, about it being the bank, it's like, that's the way I look at it. That's the way I explained to the head bookkeeper here at, Guaranteed Response Marketing LLC, that, hey, this is going to pay dividends on being able to say thank you. It cuts down on the BS. You're not going to have to go do this, Terry, and it's going to pay back. If one of these people turns into something cool, it's going to more than pay for itself. She's like, okay, yeah, cool.
So, we had a client, Jim, that got a $2 million deal. They did a $2 million deal from us sending them something like what we're talking about. The person got it.
This is not an income claim. Your results may vary.
Yes, the results may vary. Thank you for doing that. But we said the person walked in the room with the little gift that we sent them and said, this was the nicest thing anyone's ever sent me. Where do I sign? Oh. And so you can't underestimate.
Can I send something to that guy?
It won't fit. Different business. But you can't underestimate the power of these little gestures. And so we put this together to make it easy for someone, because like, well, how do I find, here's the other thing. How do I find their address? Well, I don't know where to send it. We do that for you because we have our ways of finding. And then what address do you send it to? Do I send it to their business? Do I send it to their home? I mean, these are all the mistakes that people don't want to make. And so we help you not make those mistakes. We tell you, here's where we're going to send it for you. We're going to find the address for you. So yeah, this is really easy. And then if people want handshakes and high fives, one thing I offered is, as a bonus, I have 35 videos from my symposium of top influencers. These are key people that build their businesses, $1 million businesses with relationships. And I'm offering that as a bonus where you can get access to these 35 videos. And you can watch people like Jim and other people that shared how you built your businesses through relationships. And then also there's an hour free consulting that you'll get with me too in there as well. So you can get on with me for an hour and I can talk with you about your relationship building and kind of get you steered and focused in the direction you need to go. So really, I put something together here that is really going to help you go all in on relationships, allow you to be able to connect with people really fast. And this is completely done for you. You don't have to do anything except give us the name, give us Stu's name. We'll go come up with something we can send to Stu.
And, Nikki said in there, that's really affordable. It really is. If you take into account your time, the value of relationship, the value of doing something to really stand out in a sea of noise, this really is a no-brainer. It really is. When you understand what's going on and what the potential is, the time savings, the amazeballs factor of it, this is a great deal. And Chris has definitely put together a cool offer for y'all. So I encourage you to go check it out. And of course, if you buy through my link, I will be able to retire. I mean, he's going to pay me like $10 million for every person that signs up. So I appreciate you, Christopher. I thank you.
I thought Stu was getting that, but
I was going to give him half.
Okay. All right. Deal. Done.
Very good.
Thanks for having me, though. Thanks for letting me talk about this. It's a game changer. Sure. Relationships are where it's all at. Go all in on it. Thank you so much for letting me talk about this. I'm very passionate about it. It saved my life. It's going to save someone else's life. It's going to save your business. Go find that person that's going to help you get to the next level. They're out there.
Awesome. I couldn't say anything else. So we'll just say thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.